If you thought Outlander had already broken your heart, think again, because Season 8 is bringing back a ghost we never expected. Faith Fraser, the child Claire and Jamie lost all the way back in Season 2, isn't just a memory anymore. According to the shocking Season 7 finale twist, there's a real chance she's alive. And everything we thought we knew about time, fate, and family is about to unravel. This twist didn't come from the books. It came from the showrunners. And it changes everything. Claire's deepest trauma is now being reopened in the most unimaginable way. And if you thought her journey was already painful, what's coming next is going to destroy her. And us, right alongside her. And while Faith might be returning, one key character is not, and fans are furious. Jenny Fraser Murray won't be back for the final season, and the backlash is already boiling over. But that's just the beginning. From Faith's impossible return to Jamie's fate in battle, the Revolutionary War, and the shocking way the series will end, this isn't just the end of Outlander. This is a storm none of us are ready for. When Claire lost faith in Paris, we all thought it was the most tragic moment in the entire series. That moment shaped her. It changed Jamie. It fractured them in a way that took seasons to rebuild. But now, years later, Outlander just dropped the biggest twist in its history. Faith might not be gone. This isn't a dream. It's not a flashback. This is something real. The clues were subtle, tucked into the final moments of Season 7, but they were loud enough to shake the entire fandom. If you rewatch the finale, there's a moment where Claire finds a personal item, something only she and Faith would know about. Then there's the strange vision that hits her out of nowhere, not like a memory, but like a connection. And Katrina. Balfe has already teased this twist as a cliffhanger that opens a whole other world. What does that even mean? It means time might not be as fixed as we once believed. Faith's death happened in the 1700s. But what if someone interfered with that timeline? What if time travel, something we've always seen as risky but navigable, can be used to change something that should have been permanent? And here's the haunting part. If Faith's alive, who raised her? Where has she been all these years? Is she a woman now, unknowingly living with a past that's been erased, or worse, rewritten? The emotional toll on Claire is impossible to imagine. To lose a child is one thing. To be told she never truly lost her, that's something else. Season 8 is going to peel open that wound with a brutal precision. And the worst part is, this reveal isn't just about joy or reunion, it's about consequences. The story of Faith returning won't be a peaceful one, because for someone to live when they weren't meant to, someone else must suffer. And that's the kind of heartbreak Outlander has always been willing to embrace. Claire's grief shaped her identity as much as her love for Jamie. It's part of why she became a healer. It's part of why she's so driven to save lives even when the odds are impossible. Faith's return doesn't erase that grief. It complicates it. Now Claire will question everything. Was her memory wrong? Was someone lying to her? Was magic involved? Or has time itself played a cruel trick? One theory suggests that a time traveler from the future, possibly one of the children, could have gone back and changed something that led to Faith surviving. And if that's true, then Season 8 might reveal more than just the return of a lost daughter. It might uncover a war between timelines, fought quietly behind the scenes. Remember, Claire's been different ever since she traveled through the stones. She heals faster. She sees things. She senses danger before it comes. These aren't just quirks, they're signs. Diana Gabaldon hinted years ago that Claire's powers go beyond time travel. And now, the show seems ready to unlock that final mystery. If Faith is alive, then Claire's bond to her might be what saves or dooms everyone. But here's the most chilling part. What if Faith has grown up without knowing who Claire is? What if she sees Claire not as her mother, but as a stranger interfering in her life? The emotional trauma, the confusion, the anger, it could destroy them both. And depending on how the show handles it, Faith might not even be a hero. What if she's been raised by someone with dark intentions, someone who wanted revenge on Claire or the Frasers or even time travelers themselves? That would be the ultimate twist, not just the return of a lost daughter, but the rise of a new antagonist, one who shares Claire's blood. As we go into the final season, one thing is absolutely clear. Nothing is safe, and no reunion comes without pain. As Faith's return shatters the emotional core of the story, something even more devastating looms on the horizon: Jamie's fate. Since the very beginning, Jamie Fraser has been the soul of this saga. A warrior, a husband, a father, and a man who's always fought against impossible odds. But Season 8 makes one thing painfully clear: the war is no longer coming. It's here. The Revolutionary War is about to rip through everything the Frasers have built, and Jamie is right in the middle of it. In the closing moments of Season 7, we saw him boarding the ship with Claire, bound for Scotland to bury his cousin Simon Fraser. But history is pulling them back to America, to the bloody heart of the Revolution. We already know from historical records that Simon dies in the Battle of Saratoga. And if Simon's death is fixed in time, what about Jamie's? Can he escape the war again? Or is this the moment where history demands something in return? Outlander has always toyed with fate and freedom, but Season 8 is where all debts come due. And this time, Jamie may not walk away. What makes it even more terrifying is that Claire knows too much. She's a woman from the future, with the burden of knowing how certain events are supposed to unfold. But in trying to protect Jamie from that fate, she may be setting something even worse in motion. She already tried to change history once, at Culloden, and failed. Now, as the war in America erupts, she's faced with the same horror: fight fate, or lose the man she loves. But what if it's already too late? In the books, Jamie is believed to have died in a fire, a rumor that haunts Bree and Roger in their own timeline. That same rumor might now become real in the show, and fans are already speculating about a funeral, a burned body, and Claire's final goodbye. If the show chooses to follow that thread, Jamie's death could be faked, or it could be permanent. And here's where it gets truly chilling. What if Jamie doesn't die in battle, but because of time itself? What if time travel, which has saved Claire so many times, ends up stealing Jamie away from her? There's a growing theory that Jamie is now anchored to the 18th century in a way that Claire is not, that he was never meant to move through time, and that being with Claire for so long has created a fracture. His dreams, his visions of Bree and Roger before they arrived, these weren't just coincidences. They were symptoms of a man caught between two realities, slowly being pulled apart. And now that Faith has possibly re-entered the story, another bond has been created. One that could demand a sacrifice. One that might need Jamie's life to hold the timeline together. The idea is terrifying, but it fits the show's emotional brutality. Just when you think there might be peace, Outlander reminds you that time is not your friend. It steals, it rewrites, and it punishes those who try to defy it. And then there's the heartbreak Claire has to face alone. Imagine her holding Jamie's body, or worse, believing he's dead when he's been lost in time. What if Jamie is pulled into a different era, trapped and unable to return? That would be even more devastating than death. Alive but unreachable, a ghost in another century. And for Claire, it would be the final test of faith, literally. With Faith Fraser's return and Jamie's possible disappearance, she's caught between her two greatest loves. One she lost in the past, one she may now lose to time itself. The emotional weight of that is crushing, and Season 8 is not backing away from it. This isn't just the end of a story, it's the collapse of everything they fought for. And still, it gets worse, because while Jamie may be fated to die, his legacy doesn't. His children, Brianna, William, and possibly even Faith, are going to face a new kind of battle, one where their very existence could be erased, depending on how the timeline heals itself. And that's what makes this final season so terrifying. Every choice matters. Every death echoes. And the price of rewriting fate might be the very soul of the Fraser family. While the storm of war and time rips through Jamie and Claire's world, another absence cuts deep, and this one feels personal. Jenny Murray, Jamie's sister, and one of the fiercest, most grounded characters in Outlander, will not be returning in Season 8. And fans are not just heartbroken, they're furious. Jenny has always been more than just a supporting character. She's Jamie's anchor to his past, the beating heart of Lallybroch, and the voice of family when everything else falls apart. Her absence in the final chapter of the Fraser story feels like a wound that refuses to heal. Viewers who have followed this family for years are devastated, and speculation is exploding across the fandom. Why would the show erase such a vital figure just as the Fraser legacy hangs in the balance? Some fans blame behind-the-scenes issues, pointing to scheduling conflicts or creative changes, but others believe this was intentional, an emotional gut punch designed to isolate Jamie even further in his final arc. Without Jenny, Jamie is spiritually adrift. He has no family to return to in Scotland, no familiar face to help him confront his ghosts. And that's exactly what makes his journey so tragic. Jenny was the only one who ever truly understood both the man and the boy that Jamie used to be. She challenged him, stood beside him, and held him accountable. Without her, he's forced to carry the burden of leadership, of loss, of history, completely alone. This decision also disrupts the emotional symmetry of the story. Outlander has always been about circles, time loops, generational echoes, families, torn apart and stitched back together. Jenny was part of that circle. She was there when Jamie first fell for Claire, when the rebellion shattered their lives, and when Lallybroch stood as a symbol of home. Removing her from the final season breaks something sacred. And for many fans, it feels like betrayal. Social media is buzzing with outrage, posts demanding justice for Jenny, petitions asking for a surprise return, and threads full of grief for a character who deserves more than just silence, because her absence doesn't just hurt emotionally, it creates a hole in the legacy itself. And what about Ian? Jenny's son has become a key player in the larger saga, especially as the war draws near and allegiances shift. But even he seems adrift without his mother. In the books, Jenny's role continues long after the war, shaping decisions that ripple through the family. Without her voice of reason, her fierce loyalty, and her moral compass, Ian's path may fracture as well. Will he remain a bridge between cultures, or will grief and rage drive him into darkness? Jenny's absence forces these questions to surface, and the answers might not be comforting. The deeper tragedy, though, lies in what Jenny represents. Family. Real, messy, unbreakable family. She and Jamie didn't always agree, but their love was honest. It grounded the show in something real, something raw. And with her gone, that tether is cut. Jamie is no longer a brother. He's no longer a son. He becomes a man haunted by ghosts with no one left to share the burden. Even Claire can't fill that void. Her love is eternal, but family, blood family, is irreplaceable. And Jenny was that last connection. Without her, Jamie is the last. Fraser standing. It's a cruel twist that in a season full of returns, faith, war, lost futures, the one character fans were desperate to see again is gone. No goodbye, no closure, just silence. And that silence speaks louder than any death. Because Outlander knows how to hurt its audience. And this was deliberate. A quiet, devastating reminder that not all wounds are visible. Some are just felt. Some stay forever. Faith's return doesn't just defy death, it threatens to shatter the laws of time itself. Outlander has always danced on the edge of mystery and miracle, but now it's plunging straight into a storm of paradoxes that no one can fully control. Faith was never supposed to live. Her death marked Claire's most heartbreaking loss, a moment that changed her forever. So, how is it possible that Faith has returned? Not as a ghost, not as a memory, but as a living, breathing woman. The answer may lie not in science, but in something darker, something even the stones can't explain, because Faith hasn't just slipped through time, she may have been pulled. And not by chance, there are whispers, dangerous whispers, about a second timeline, one where Faith was rescued, hidden, raised away from her true family, and the one name that keeps surfacing, sending shivers through every theory, is Stephen. Bonnet. Yes, he's dead, but his influence isn't. There are clues that Bonnet had access to information he should never have known, about the stones, about Claire, about time travel. What if his cruelty masked something more calculated? What if he left behind a plan designed to unmake everything the Frasers built? Faith's sudden reappearance might not be a miracle, it might be the trigger, the beginning of the end. Because if timelines are colliding, then nothing is safe. Characters who should be dead are alive. Moments once certain are now unraveling. The war, the family, the prophecy, it's all twisting into something new. And at the center of it stands Faith, torn between the mother she's just found and the strange past she barely remembers. Some believe she was raised in the 20th century, others that she was hidden with distant kin in Scotland, but wherever she was, someone kept her away for a reason. And that reason is terrifying. Because if Faith remembers anything, if she speaks the wrong name or reveals the wrong truth, it could rewrite history itself. The stones are stirring again. People are disappearing. And Claire, who once believed she had mastered the mystery of time, is suddenly helpless in the face of it. Faith's bloodline, her survival, could destroy the delicate balance that's kept the past and future from collapsing. And there's something else, something chilling. Brianna has started having visions, not dreams, but flashes, of another girl, of screams in the fire, of a voice calling out from the stones. Could Faith's return be connected to Brianna's unraveling mind? Could these two daughters be caught in the same web, one that stretches far beyond even Claire's understanding? And then there's Jamie. How do you tell a father that the child he buried now lives? How do you ask him to love someone he never knew? Faith's return breaks him in ways even Culloden couldn't, because she is his blood, but not his memory. He sees her, but he doesn't know her. And yet, in her eyes, something familiar burns, something ancient, as if the Highland spirit he thought lost forever had returned in the form of a daughter he never got to hold. But love isn't easy when time is broken, and Faith's presence might do more than heal. It might tear the family apart. Theories are spinning faster than ever. Is Faith a time walker, chosen by the stones themselves? Was her life saved by someone in the future, someone with a purpose? Or is she the final piece in a war that was never about Britain or America, but about time, blood, and destiny? Fans are terrified that her return means sacrifice, that for one child to live, another may have to die. And in a show like Outlander, nothing comes without a cost, not even hope. It all comes down to this. Faith's return has set something unstoppable into motion, and no one, not even Claire, is prepared for what's coming. The final season of Outlander isn't just wrapping up a story, it's ripping open wounds we thought had healed, exposing truths that were buried for decades and forcing every character to face the one thing they've all tried to escape: destiny. Claire thought she had outrun fate when she saved Jamie from Culloden. Brianna thought she changed her future by leaving the 20th century. But the timeline has been cracked wide open, and something is bleeding through. In the end, the story isn't about traveling through time. It's about the price we pay for doing it. The final episodes reveal the ultimate twist. For Faith to live, someone else must die. The balance has tipped too far. Too many lives saved. Too many futures rewritten. Now, the stones demand retribution. A life for a life. And the prophecy whispered in Gaelic, long forgotten, suddenly takes center stage. The daughter who died shall return, and the one who loves the fire shall fall. Fans now fear the worst. Is Brianna the sacrifice? Or Claire? Or Jamie himself? Every theory ends in heartbreak. Every path leads to loss. Claire is torn between two daughters. Brianna, her fierce, brave daughter of the future, and Faith, her miracle, her second chance. But time does not give without taking. The stones are calling louder than ever. They are no longer a gift. They are a curse. Claire's heart breaks as she realizes what she must do. To protect the ones she loves, she must risk everything. And Jamie sees it coming. He sees the sorrow in Claire's eyes, the fire in Brianna's, the quiet strength in Faith, and he knows one of them will not survive this ending, and he cannot stop it. And just when we think we've reached the end, there's one final betrayal. Someone has been manipulating the timeline all along. A figure from the past, long believed dead, returns in secret, not to love, but to destroy. Some fans believe it's Geillis Duncan, back with one last spell to cast. Others say it's Bonnet's son, older now, twisted by vengeance, with knowledge of time travel no one ever expected. Whoever it is, they hold the final key to everything, and they want the Fraser legacy erased. The final moments of the series are nothing short of soul-crushing. A farewell is spoken through tears. A choice is made by firelight. And in a final walk to the stones, Claire hears two voices call her name. One from the past, one from the future. She steps forward, and the screen fades to black. The fandom is in mourning. Tears, rage, disbelief flood every corner of the internet. Some say the ending was too cruel, others call it perfect, but no one will forget it. Because Outlander didn't just end, it shattered us. The story began with love that defied time. It ends with sacrifice that defines it. Faith returned, but not without cost. And the ending destroyed us all.